Welcome into the Devil's Digest postgame show following Arizona State's 23-7 loss against Arizona in the Territorial Cup game. The Sun Devils finished the regular season at 8-4 overall and 6-3 in Big 12 play, and now have zero chance to make the Big 12 championship. As always, for publisher Hunter Bino, I'm Dustin Lestertosa. First, we'd like to thank our sponsors with Burrito Express and Santan Ford. And Hode, let's cut right to the chase. 5 turnovers from the Sun Devil offense. Really couldn't get anything going at all.
Yeah, and I think, Justin, we all knew coming into this game this was going to be one of the best defenses that ASU was going to face all year long. But to have 5 turnovers, even against such a stout unit, is obviously very disappointing, especially when it does happen at home. It does look like the offense really never got into rhythm. You look at the rushing yards, and against I would say mediocre rushing defense, ASU only had 100 yards rushing, and it was a given that ASU was not going to impose their will in the air against such a good secondary. And Jeff Sims, the senior quarterback, your heart really goes out to him. His last game ever in Tempe, and just having an absolute horrible, nightmarish night, having 3 turnovers, 11 out of 25 passing, 114 yards. He did have the rushing touchdown, the only score that the Sun Devils did have. But I just felt that, when it came to play calling and execution, Jeff Sims in the offense just really never got into rhythm. And the fact that we're not able to impose their will on the line of scrimmage and really run down Arizona's throat, because, again, as good as this Arizona defense is, they were not known for their run-stopping abilities. And I thought that ASU was able to exploit that going into the game. And when they were not able to do that, that was really just checkmate in terms of Arizona State's futility all night. So very, very, very disappointing game. And whenever ASU does play in a bowl game against whatever opponent they're going to face, you really hope there can be a lot of valuable lessons that can be learned from tonight, because I just can't imagine a more disappointing performance from the offense when it's at home and it's against an in-state rival, and to have not 1 but 5 turnovers. After you had 4 turnovers last week and were able to get away with it because it's Colorado, there was just no way you're going to get away with it against a defense like Arizona, and that's exactly what transpired tonight.
Yeah, and this ASU defense was holding its own, especially in the first half, but toward the end of the game in the third and especially fourth quarter, it really started to catch up to them. Arizona will go on to win 23-7, as we said, put up most of those points in the second half. What did you see from ASU's defensive unit?
Yeah, I mean, what else can you ask from this defense? They're on the field, I would say, for about 35 minutes, probably a little longer, 89 plays. And to give up only 23 points when it was all said and done, it just really shows you what a special group this is. Obviously, they did not play perfect football. I mean, nobody's really implying that. But when you had an Arizona defense that was averaging over 30 points a game, averaging over 400 yards of offense, and they did not reach those averages, and if they came somewhat close to those averages, like I said, Justin, a lot of it was in the second half, if not really garbage time in the fourth quarter. I think what's disappointing is that they were not able to contain North Fafita that well at all. I mean, North Fafita on the night was 28 of 45, 286 yards. Did have the one passing touchdown, and just when you talk about the lack of rhythm and structure that the passing offense had for ASU, that was the exact opposite of U of A. It just seems like they were always on cue, always in sync, and that really showed a lot. They made a conscious choice not to pick on Keith Abney, but they picked on the other cornerback, Javon Robinson, who was just targeted maybe 15 times a game, maybe even more, and obviously they were able to find some success with that. ASU did try to apply pressure, mostly with 4 linemen, so they could drop people in coverage, but I just felt that sometimes there was just way too many seams in that zone defense for U of A to exploit. This is just way too good of an offense, especially in their passing game, not to exploit any shortcoming you were going to showcase. In terms of the rushing game, they only had 88 yards rushing, so not a gaudy number by any means, but it seemed like, especially in the second half in the fourth quarter, when they need those rushing yards to come, just to really hold on to the ball and move the chains. We're able to do that. So, just like we knew this was going to be one heck of a Arizona defense ASU going to contend with, I think the Arizona offense really did come as advertised. Very, very lethal in the air, even though their first half was somewhat quiet. Again, the ASU defense really did all they could. Don't forget that U of A had not one but three field goals that were missed. One of them blocked. Two of them just missed the mark. And it's kind of almost the same song and dance just like we talked about all year long. The defense, bailing out the offense, the defense having another stop, the defense giving life to the offense. And time again, the offense not taking advantage of it. And today it was really just in a very extreme way not taking advantage. We're only scoring 7 points, which ironically came on the longest drive of the game for the offense, 90 yards. So just, disappointing for the defense, obviously, but I just feel that the defense really played as well as they could under the circumstances, because ultimately you need to have that complementary offense. You need to have the other side of the ball just to balance you out. That never happened on Friday night.
Yeah, Hode, and obviously with all the injuries and everything, all the factors that played into ASU going 8-4 this season, you could look at it as somewhat of a success, being able to bounce back from those injuries, still compete in high-level games, and obviously still one more bowl game to play in the season. But putting it all into a bottle, just take a second to reflect. What are your takeaways on this ASU team in this season?
I mentioned this a few weeks ago that 4 out of the 6 players that came to Media Day, and obviously players that do come to Media Day are star players, missed a good portion of the season. Or in best case scenario, like Jordan Tyson, were in and out of the lineup. And that's another thing I probably should have mentioned earlier when I talked about the offense, that Jordan Tyson did start but did re-aggravate his hamstring in the first half, and that obviously did not help the passing game as a whole, because nobody was able to step up, and Jeff Sims just had a very nightmarish performance. But when you look at all that adversity with the injuries to key players, for ASU some way somehow to still win 8 games, I think it really is something commendable. And Kenny Dillingham at the press conference, as always, did take full responsibility that he did not prepare his team, and he said, "Look, we still have another bowl game to play. If we win that game, then we're going to be an ASU team that won 20 games in 2 seasons. Last time that happened was 2013, 2014, and I don't remember the last time it happened before that. It might have been in the Frank Kush days, and I'm not even kidding. So I think those are some of the things that you really have to put in perspective. In 2024, everything was bouncing ASU's way. I mean, close win after close win. The injury bug was really close to none. And 2025 was just a whole different story, and all the adversity eventually did catch up for ASU. I think a lot of people are going to look at the offense and offensive play calling as probably being the most disappointing aspect of the year, and I think there's some merit to that argument. But not to have Sam Levitt for such a long stretch, not to have Jordan Tyson for several games, and for Jeff Sims and the other players, playing as hard as they can, just not able to step up. And really the turnovers were just an absolute, I believe, plague for this team, for lack of a better term. Tonight, 5 turnovers. Last week against Colorado, 4 turnovers. Iowa State, without looking at the box score, 3 turnovers or 4 turnovers. And it just comes down to you're able to get away with shortcomings with turnovers when the caliber of opponent is not that great. But against U of A, which is obviously a very different U of A team than what we saw in 2024, and probably resembling the U of A squad that we saw in 2023, that won double-digit games, just everything really did come to bite you. So, you really can't overstate the disappointment about the here and now. But like I said, just when you look at the whole perspective and there's still a bowl game to play, I think you have to view this program really marching in the right direction. 2024 maybe was too good to be true to duplicate, but under all the circumstances that 2025 presented, and a lot of them were really crappy circumstances, for lack of a better term, I think ASU was able to do the best they could. So again, the microcosm, extremely disappointed, but the macrocosm, I think, is something that a lot of ASU fans should be proud. It might take them a day or two or a week or two to feel that way.
Well, Hode, thank you for your insight as always. The regular season wraps itself up for Arizona State here at Meta in America Stadium. Also, my final time covering a game here at Meta in America Stadium. So, Hode, thank you for all the opportunities, and thank you all for sticking with us on this 2-year journey. But we'll still be here with all the coverage for ASU's bowl preparation and ASU men's basketball. So to stay locked in, go to DevilsDigest.com. Follow Devils Digest on Twitter at Devils Digest. As always, for publisher Hode Urbino, for the final time at Meta in America Stadium, I'm Justin Lassertosa. We'll talk to you guys soon.